Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million, what color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo!
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Blog Talk Radio.
Your goals are our goals, and your success makes us successful. You're listening to ThinkBigRadio.com, where big thinkers come to teach and learn. We'd like to thank you all for your continued support and spreading the word about ThinkBigRadio.com. Have you spread the word today?
Good day, ThinkBigRadio.com listeners. Big here, your host tonight. Of course, I'd like to thank you for your continued support. And tonight, as you all know, it is episode 3, lesson 1, Who Are You? Y-O-U, Your Opportunities Unlimited. This is the final episode for lesson 1. We're going to do a bit of a recap after I finish these last 10 or so pages. I'm going to do some extras. For those who are listening in, if you have a question a little bit later in the show, press 1 and the pound sign, and I'll bring you on to answer any questions or any challenges for that part. If you'd like to make a statement, we take those as well. So the first thing I'm going to also let you guys know is that every Monday, at least 4 weeks, 4 Mondays a month, sometimes there's more, we will do a lesson from this series. So this month, we've been covering Chapter 1, which we call Earth, Building Your Foundation of Wealth. And this first chapter lesson has 3 parts that I've been breaking down. Now, the last part, what we're going to do is we're going to have a special guest come on next Monday, and they're going to highlight and talk about one of the 3 parts. Now, it may not be necessarily in this particular course, but it will be something that will help you get to another level or have a different relation to what I'm telling you about instead of just coming from me. So before we get started on this last lesson, I'm going to tell you guys where you can go to download the workbook that we're working from. You want to go to thinkbigradio.com/must-listen to get 3, the number 3. That's going to tell you a little bit about what we're discussing this show. You'll be able to download the manual by clicking the link. Just so that you know, you don't have to necessarily download the manual and print it, but once you click the link, the manual will pop up and you can follow along, and I'll tell you exactly where we're going to start from this evening. For those of you who want to print it, hope you got some ink in your computers, but you can print the black and white version for under $6 at any local store. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover a couple of the things really quick that we covered in the first 2 lessons. When you download the lesson, you'll see the second page says, serious about your success. You never have to do more to remain where you are. Do more. So to cover that, what it's really trying to tell you guys that's listening is there comes a point where you really need to get serious about your success. When you're serious about your success, you can't do the things that you've been doing all of the time. Because if you do those same things, you're going to still get whatever level of success that you're at right now. So you still have to do more. And that's how you become successful. So the first 10 pages was really covering about the course. Stage 1, identifying and pursuing your passions. Stage 2, managing the income you already earn. Stage 3, increasing your income. Stage 4, decreasing your debt, becoming debt-free. Stage 5, business ownership, home and investment property ownership. So this chapter 1 is the first of 3 chapters. And we have here the 3 steps to becoming successful is belief, action, and persistence. The very first day we covered about 10 pages, and so I want to cover just a little bit here with one of the most important pages, and that was verse 10 from lesson 1 is the commitment treaty. Make sure you take a look at that. It would be page 4 on the download. At the bottom of the page, you'll see a 4. And this commitment treaty is not a commitment that you'll listen to the show every Monday. You'll listen to the show when there's a great guest come on. But this commitment treaty is a commitment to you. No one sees this but you, but it's imperative that you print this, fill it out, and place it somewhere to remind you that you are committing to yourself and to your success. So it says, I, place for your name, understand that in order to live a big life, I have to make small changes that over time will produce major results. I understand that in order to live life big, I must also set short-term goals that are measurable and note my progress frequently. Below is the commitment treaty I will uphold. I will agree to commit daily 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, or 15 hours. I will set this time aside Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, mornings, afternoons, or evenings. My weekly commitment is X amount of hours. I will commit to becoming successful this year and every year after by taking actions on my goals and dreams one day at a time. I am committed. I will live life big with no regrets. So one of the reasons here where we have I will agree to commit daily a number of hours is because when you think about there are 600 minutes in your average work day. You work in 8 hours. Let's say you've got an hour to get there, hour to get home. You know, we consider that part of your work. That's 600 minutes. If you can commit to just 10% of that, which is 1 hour a day on your own dreams or making yourself better, you will see some measurable results over time. Now, some people, their mornings might be better for them, afternoons, evenings. Pick what time is best for you and what day is best for you, and make sure. Now, if you can do it every day, hey, do a little every day. I can't do it every day. I need really a day or two of rest because I'm always working or assisting someone with their plan, you know, making sure that they've got some things in place and sharing my knowledge. So in the first part, that was really the main thing, which was committing to yourself. And then we went over a couple of things about who are you. There were 12 questions. Those 12 questions assist you in just delving deeper into your unconscious to, you know, bring up some things and then also make you think more. You know, so we have some really, really good questions. And just for one of them is, what was the very first memory you can recall? We start off with that question. And the reason we start off with that is because one thing that we've noticed is every time you go back, you might be able to remember even more. Before that is a statement. Describe yourself or business in 50 words or less. Because most of the time when people talk about you, they're just saying the same couple of things over and over. So we want you to describe yourself or business in 50 words or less. This is how you see it. Once we get through those 12 questions, which was part of the first lesson, we finished up on what we call a post. A lot of you guys know everybody's talking about posts. Post on Facebook, post on Instagram, post on Twitter. But what if your post was a plan of strategy tablet, POST? So when you sit down and decide what your goals are, we want you to post that. Put it in writing. Not necessarily for all of your social network, but for you. So we take the word post, P-O-S-T, and we change it to plan of strategy tablet. Now you guys will be able to find any type of tablet anywhere that'll be able to assist you, and just put post on top of it. If you can do that, it'll benefit you a lot, because one of the things that we definitely believe in is we believe in writing down your goals. We know if you write down your goals, it's going to be, let's say, concrete. You'll be able to get more done, especially when you take the time to write it down. I'm not talking about typing. You know, you shouldn't have to type your goals. They shouldn't even be that many. And that's one of the things that we break down is short goals. If your goals are a paragraph, can you break that paragraph down into Twitter talk, 140 characters? I think they went a little bit over that now. So the goals are your what, why, and don't worry about your how right off. Just get your what are, your top three, why it's important to you, and then that how is going to come over time. When we moved on to the second part of this three-part series, it dealt with strategy, but it also dealt with start being grateful right now. Right now. See, every day there is something that you can be thankful for, so start taking a note of it. So today I am grateful for, and there's room in the workbook for you to put this, and then the best thing that happened to me today was, and you write that down, because if you're grateful for what you have today, then it opens up more that the world and the universe has to offer you, because you're not just thinking like, I'm in such a bad spot, nothing's going right, I've got to do something to make it. You know, you're being grateful for some of the things that's going on right now, and not just, hey, I woke up this morning. All right, great, definitely, you did that. So the second part we also covered about a vision board. Think about it. You wrote your goals down. That was already something powerful. And you guys can check the statistics on that, because I'm pretty sure it changes every few years. But the statistics on people who write down their goals as opposed to those who don't, how successful they become or how faster it takes them to. But then once you write those goals down, imagine then creating a vision board around what you want. That takes a little bit more work, but it's more visual. So you got your writing, you got your visual. Think about how much faster you can get to where you want to be. So the pamphlet has a couple of different types of vision boards, and then what we went over was tips to save more income. So in each lesson, we'll have different tips, different apps that you can use to save income. Take a look at those apps. We're all about saving. We're going to have some really, really good things coming up next month in Chapter 2, because I'll tell you that in a minute, but you definitely want to be tuned in. So one of the apps that we covered was Checkout 51. So you can buy groceries and earn cash back. So once you get the manual, you will see some links on there. You can click. It'll take you right to the app. You can read up about it. You can even Google Checkout 51. That's one of the apps that we covered. Now, we're at where we are tonight. So in each lesson, of course, if you're building a business, building a brand, or even if you're just trying to build yourself, you're going to always have to find ways to market. So we start in this lesson with the most basic. It's all old school. Now, once we get to lesson 5 in chapter 1, then that's when we'll be covering the SEO, the Facebook, the Twitter, all of those different paid things and Google things. But we're going to start at the beginning of marketing, because when you think about it, you still see this today for those who are older. And for those of you who are, younger, in your 15s and your 20s, you see the same thing. Somebody's going to give you a paper. It's a flyer. It's going to be a party. Somebody's going to give you something that wants you to sell your home. All of those are print. So this first thing, not only do we cover in this first lesson about print advertisement, but also different things that you can think of to be creative to get your advertising noticed, so that what is the number one reason people advertise? So that people take action. So you have to be creative at times in your advertising. Even though there's tried and true methods, you still want to test certain things. And if it doesn't work, hey, it doesn't work. If it does work, you can add that to your arsenal. So when we're covering this getting started marketing tips and templates, I'm going to read from page 20. Who are you? What are your goals? We hope that those ever-changing answers have at least been addressed today. It is very important that you take the time to discover who you are. Who are you when you are alone? Everyone may not be looking to start a business or create income from their passion. We know that most of you are. If you're looking to grow into the vision you see, there is a proper sequence that must be followed to attain that higher vision of yourself. If your vision is to become debt-free and wealthy, you're going to need income as well as provide a service that you can stand behind. As you go further through each chapter and lesson, your income will increase, and so will the amount you can use on advertising. The first chapter, lessons 1 through 5, will cover free and low-cost ways to get the word out. We'll provide a printable marketing that can get you started. This, of course, is old school at its finest. Guess what? It still actually works. How did you find out about us? All right. So page 21, step 1, how much are you willing to spend on marketing? You may not have a lot of money, so you have to figure out ways to get the word out if you don't have a lot of money. When you first start your business, unless you're getting a business loan or unless you've got money saved, regardless, you want to save and hold on to what you have. So how much are you willing to spend? And sometimes that spend is not a dollar amount. It could definitely be time. When I first started working in a network marketing company when I was younger, the company's still around today, and they're a great company called Melaleuca. I would make 1,000 business cards because they were very inexpensive, and they would simply say, earn $150 to $400 additional dollars a month. That's something that people can reach. Call 1-800 for details. That was it. Simple, to the point. Earn $150 to $400 monthly, part-time. So a lot of people have jobs. They say, hey, $150 to $200 extra dollars a month. That's, I can do that. That'll kind of help me out. Now, mind you, this was about about 20 years ago. I don't even want to think about what I was doing back then. But anyway, those simple business cards, normally at night, I would walk the neighborhood that I chose, and I would place that business card right by a person's doorknob so that when they get ready to go into their car, they see it right there on their window. Now there was a 50-50 chance that they would throw it away, but a lot of times, especially when I did it during the day, I would get calls before I was even finished. They called an 800 number. I get a little text message. I had a Scottel pager, I believe I had back then. So those little business cards helped me earn $350 to $400 a month, all the way up until I was earning about $6 of them. So on page 21, you'll also see that business cards. How many do you pass out daily? If you're passing out less than 25 a day or 100 weekly, you might be losing business. How many do you have now, and when was the last time you bought some? When I wrote this, I used to carry a lot of business cards. I don't have to really that much anymore because I do so much of my marketing online. And sometimes when I go to events, people will say to me like, oh, do you have a business card? And I really don't carry them. And the reason why is because they're just too bulky. I have too many of them. But what I will do is I don't have a business card, but hey, do you have your phone on you? Go to, of course, my website. So now they're going to my website, they're liking my page, they're, putting some information in, and that is my business card today. So you have to think, sometimes business cards are good, sometimes you may not want to carry them, but for this lesson, we went old school and we went with business cards. Postcards. When I was doing real estate, I had maybe 5,000 postcards made, and I had two strategies. Strategy number one, I started volunteering for any nonprofits that dealt with housing. If they had any literature to put out, my postcard would be with that literature, and I would have an example on that postcard of a deal that I helped people with. So one of the postcards basically had my picture, of course, email, phone number. I helped my last client save $17,000 on the purchase of a home. I also got them back X amount of dollars at closing. Maybe I can help you. So it was all geared toward people who were looking to buy property, because that was my passion, helping you buy. I helped a lot of people sell, but helping people buy property. And so that postcard alone would give me business. Now, another little trick I did was I would go to all of the hair salons, all of the little real estate places, and I would leave about 5 postcards. Because when you leave 20, 30, 40, a lot of times they fall somewhere, and next thing you know, they're in the garbage. But when you leave about 5, you have a better chance of people taking those cards because they think most of them may have been taken already. So postcards work really well for me. Flyers work pretty good on cars. I don't even want to tell you this story, how funny it is about once I did this whole community with flyers, and the security rolled up and told me to take the flyers out. That's something that you need to see live because it's hilarious. But anyway, so business cards, postcards, and flyers. And you've got to do the work. Now, that was a lot of walking work. We don't walk as much now. We pretty much go online. So now, for your marketing post, which is post again, plan a strategy tablet, it says on page 22, I will start right now. And then just write down, what will you start right now? At the bottom it says, content marketing is a commitment, not a campaign. Now, that was by a gentleman named John Buscall. Google his name, John, S-J-O-N, Buscall, like you're calling a bus, B-U-S-C-A-L-L. He was a major marketer back in the day, and this was before my day pretty much. Then the second one is, if content is king, then conversion is queen. And I can't even see the person's name on my copy that I printed. But we always tell people, make sure you have content. Make sure you have something that's valuable. But then once you have that, you have to convert. You have to convert the people who are listening, convert the people who are reading into, what are we out here for? We're out here to make money. So you have to convert those into sales. So page 23, 24, 25, 26, they're basically examples of marketing. examples with a lot of stuff for people who may be sitting in a doctor's office. And then there are short examples that you might put on a bus stop or place in a place of employment, just things that people can read and they tell detail. But what I'm going to do here is on page 25, I'm going to read that one. So at the top right, it has a bunch of blocks. So the blocks across the middle says strategy. Then it says from going, horizontal, solution, goal, success. So now it says we have provided the solution and strategy. The goal and success is up to you. People's beliefs about their abilities have a profound effect on those abilities. Ability is not a fixed property. There is a huge variability in how you perform. People who have a sense of self-efficacy, I don't even know why I put that there, bounce back from failure. They approach things in terms of how to handle them than worrying about what can go wrong. Now, that was a quote by Albert Bandura. So all through this magazine, you're going to find a notebook, workbook, whatever you want to call it. You're going to find a lot of different quotes. So those are some great people that deal with marketing or great philosophers, and you might even see a quote from me here or there. All right, so once we get to page 27, that tells you about moving into the next lesson. Now, we used to have a video, and we had it first set up like it was similar to network marketing, except we had devised the best plan that you would have ever saw. I mean, it was so good that nobody could even duplicate it, because most people, they're just really in it for the money. We try to make sure that we're in it for you and that you can become successful with your money. So that doesn't qualify anymore, but if you wanted to read it, you'll see where we were. And then we also had a breakdown of that on page 28. So 30 is just pretty much an advertisement, something that we would put out and people would go to the website. But what I'm going to share with you is page 29. It's a short story, and we're going to be wrapping up pretty quick here. The short story is called Popcorn Mondays. Now, I've met a lot of different people in my life, and a lot of them share stories with me. And so every now and then I may tell someone else's story, but of course, I'll give them credit where credit is due. So this came from a person that I know very close, and she's a really, really cool person and friend and pretty much like family. But it was one of the things that she shared with me when she came home, and to me, it was just so funny. And so I asked her if I could share this as one of our short stories in the series, and she said, go for it. So here it is. It's called Popcorn Mondays. A great friend as well as business associate of mine that works for a mortgage provider shared a story with me recently that is worth retelling. She has been in the business of finance for several years and rose through the ranks as an instructor in the areas of Fannie Mae, FHA, Freddie Mac, VA, and all types of government loans. When it comes to policy, she can quote the book as if she wrote it. She is one of those people that understands that some things just have to be right with no room for error. She handles every case as if it belonged to a loved one and has the gift of pointing out how to correct errors without leaving a bad taste in her superiors or co-workers' mouths. A couple of people she trained has moved into positions with a bit of authority. A gentleman that always tried to cut corners needed some information from her because in his present position, things had to be done right. She knew the information he needed was no longer valid and proceeded to tell him to start the file over from the beginning because of the time that had passed, and she would also have to do another full review. Well, he didn't like the fact he had to start over again and went to a former manager that used to protect him. The former manager called her and stated that she was not a team player and all of the other things that people come up with that have lower standards or less understanding. After she pointed out a couple of things, she had to take a break. The vice president was with a couple of other high-end executives and asked her how her day had been when returning from her break. She told them it was okay to be Popcorn Monday. They looked puzzled and asked her, what was Popcorn Monday? She told them that it was when a person did not have a good weekend, so they deflect all of their negative emotions onto someone as a way to pop off. They all laughed at her new term. I laughed and asked if I could share her story. There are a lot of times when people will pop off at you, and even if you are strong enough to eat the popcorn, it is best to just take a breather. That little quote's from me. So remember, guys, it's not really about you. Some people, we don't know what's going on in their lives. And they may come and they just try to take it out on whoever the first person they see, whoever the first person that's nice, or whoever the first person is that they may not care too much about. Don't take it personal. They're popping off. Let them clear those things if it's going to help them, but you go about doing the things that you were brought here for. What were you brought here for? Well, that's what this entire chapter was about. You. Y-O-U. Your opportunities unlimited. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. I see all the callers here. I know there's a few people that's listening online as well. Next Monday, we're going to have a guest that's going to cover one of the three main sections that we covered here. So I'll start with the first section. It was about commitment, the commitment treaty. The main thing about that commitment treaty that it had to do with time management. Because in order for you to do anything, you're going to have to manage your time. And sometimes people aren't going to want you to manage your time because they feel that you need their time. But you're not going to be able to do anything if you're always listening or managing other people's time. You have to manage your time if you want something. So that was one of the key points in this lesson, and that's one of the things that we started with was the commitment treaty. It deals with time. You've got to find time for yourself. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you don't, somebody's going to find time for you. And by the time you figure that out, you ain't going to have too much time left. One of the second key points in the first lesson of chapter 1 was writing down your goals. Now, I'm going to put writing down your goals and creating a vision board as point A and point B. But you have to know what you want to do. You have to take the time to have it. Let me tell you about working with your hands. When you're writing that goal down, you're working with your hands. You're putting it in print. You're making it solid. You're taking action because you have to write. You're going to have to work with your hands to make that goal. I don't care what it is. If your goal is to be an author, guess what you're working with? If your goal is to build a house, guess what you're working with? Whatever your goal is going to take action with your hands for the most part. So we'll say hands and feet pretty much the same, but you're going to have to take action. That's why writing your goals down or cutting out things for your vision board, pasting things, you're working with your hands. It's about working. So that next section, of course, is dealing with writing your goals